Morning, Reed. Morning, John. Morning, Amy. Morning, Cindy. All right, I think we have enough people to get started. Today's Thursday, English Day. So we will do the precepts in English. Page 10, starting. Since it is a posita, and some people are on here to take the 8 precepts, we'll do the mixed 5 and 8 precepts like we usually do. Homage to the Sublime One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Homage to the Sublime One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Homage to the Sublime One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. I go to the Buddha for refuge. I go to the Dhamma for refuge. I go to the Sangha for refuge. A second time I go to the Buddha for refuge. A second time I go to the Dhamma for refuge. A second time I go to the Sangha for refuge. A third time I go to the Buddha for refuge. A third time I go to the Dhamma for refuge. A third time I go to the Sangha for refuge. The 3 refuges are complete. Now the precepts. I undertake the training rule to abstain from taking life. I undertake the training rule to abstain from taking what is not given. And now, this is a joint one, depending on if you're doing the 5 or the 8. So for the 5, I undertake the training rule to abstain from sexual misconduct. And for the 8, I undertake the training rule to abstain from all sexual activity. I undertake the training rule to abstain from false speech. I undertake the training rule to abstain from intoxicating drinks and drugs causing heedlessness. Continuing on for those taking the 8. I undertake the training rule to abstain from eating at improper times. I undertake the training rule to abstain from dancing, singing, music shows, wearing garlands, using perfumes, and beautifying with cosmetics. I undertake the training rule to abstain from the use of high and large seats and beds. I undertake this set of 8 monastic precepts. I undertake this set of 8 monastic precepts. I undertake this set of 8 monastic precepts. Having well undertaken and kept the 8 monastic precepts, together with the 3 refuges, one should strive on with diligence. With morality, good rebirth is gained. With morality, wealth is achieved. With morality, perfect peace is attained. Therefore, morality should be purified. All right, let's move on to our daily chanting. Homage to the Sublime One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Homage to the Sublime One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Homage to the Sublime One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Such indeed is the Sublime One, worthy, perfectly enlightened, perfect in true knowledge and conduct, well gone, knower of the worlds, supreme trainer of persons to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, enlightened and exalted. Well expounded is the Dhamma by a Sublime One, directly visible, unaffected by time, calling one to come and see, leading onwards to be realized by the wise. The order of the Sublime One's disciples is practicing well. The order of the Sublime One's disciples is of upright conduct. The order of the Sublime One's disciples has entered the right path. The order of the Sublime One's disciples is practicing correctly. That is, the 4 pairs of persons, the 8 kinds of individuals. This order of the Sublime One's disciples is worthy of offerings and hospitality, worthy of gifts and salutation, supreme field of merit for the world. The Buddha, well purified with ocean-like compassion, possessed of the eye of knowledge, completely purified and destroyer of the evils and corruptions of the world. I revere that Buddha with devotion. Homage to you, sir nobly bred. Homage to you amongst men supreme. Peerless are you in all the world. May all homage be given to you. The teacher's Dhamma, like a lamp, divided into path, fruition, and the deathless, both itself transcendent and showing the way to that goal. I revere that Dhamma with devotion. Thoroughly understanding the Dhamma, and freed from longing through insight, the wise one who is rid of all desire is calm as a pool unstirred by wind. Those to whom the Dhamma is clear are not led into other doctrines. Perfectly enlightened with perfect knowledge, they walk evenly over the uneven. Of all the medicines in the world, manifold and various, there is none like the medicine of Dhamma. Therefore, O monks, drink of this. Having drunk this Dhamma medicine, you will be ageless and beyond death. Having developed and seen the truth, you will be quenched, free from craving. The Sangha, called a field better than the best, who have seen peace, awakening after the Buddha's good way, who have abandoned attachment, the noble ones, the wise, I revere that Sangha with devotion. Happy is the arising of the Buddhas. Happy is the teaching of the true Dhamma. Happy is the unity of the Sangha. Happy is the discipline of the united ones. They go to many a refuge, those who have been struck by fear. They go to the mountains and forests, to parks and trees and shrines. But none of these is a secure refuge. None is the refuge supreme. Not by relying on such a refuge can one be freed from all suffering. But one who has gone for refuge to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha sees with perfect wisdom the Four Noble Truths. Suffering, the arising of suffering, the transcending of suffering, and the Noble Eightfold Path that leads to suffering's final end. This is the refuge that is secure. This is the refuge that is supreme. By relying on such a refuge as this, one is released from all suffering. By this practice of Dhamma in accord with the Dhamma, I respect the Buddha. By this practice of Dhamma in accord with the Dhamma, I respect the Dhamma. By this practice of Dhamma in accord with the Dhamma, I respect the Sangha. All actions are led by the mind. Mind is their master, mind is their maker. Actors speak with a defiled state of mind, then suffering follows, as the cartwheel follows the foot of the ox. All actions are led by the mind. Mind is their master, mind is their maker. Actors speak with a pure state of mind, then happiness follows, as your shadow follows you without departing. Impermanent are all conditioned things, affected by rising and falling away. Having arisen, they then must cease. Blissful is it when they subside. Abstaining from all evil, doing what is good, cleansing one's mind. This is the teaching of all the Buddhas. Patience is the highest practice. Nibbana is supreme, say the Buddhas. A mendicant does not harm others. A recluse oppresses no one. Not insulting, not harming, restrained according to the moral code, moderating in food, dwelling in solitude, engaging in higher mental development. This is the teaching of all the Buddhas. By the blessings that have arisen from my practice, may my venerable preceptors and teachers who have helped me, mother, father, and relatives, male and female rulers, worldly powers, virtuous human beings, the higher beings, demons, and high gods, the guardian deities of the world, celestial beings, the Lord of death, friendly people, indifferent and hostile, may all beings be well. May the skillful deeds done by me bring you threefold bliss. May this quickly bring you to the deathless. By means of this meritorious deed, and through this aspiration, may I quickly attain the cutting off of craving and clinging. Whatever faults I have until I am liberated, may they quickly perish. Wherever I am born, may there be an upright mind, mindfulness and wisdom, austerity and vigor. May no harmful influences weaken my efforts. The Buddha is the unsurpassed protector. Dhamma is the supreme protection. Peerless is the silent Buddha. The Sangha is my true refuge. By the power of these exalted ones, may I rise above all defilements. By means of this meritorious deed, may I never join with the foolish. May I join always with the wise, until the time I attain Nibbana. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear-struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. So too may all beings be. From the highest realm of existence to the lowest, may all beings arisen in these realms, with form and without form, with perception and without perception, be released from all suffering, and attain to perfect peace. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. Continuing on with our secondary auxiliary chants here. Page 91. Badde Karatta Sutta. Atitang nan vagameya nappatikang ke anagatang yadatitang pahinang tang appatang cha anagatang pachupannang cha yodamang tatta tatta vipassati, asamhirang asankupang tang vidda manubruheye, ajeva kichang ataping ko janya maranang suve, nahi no sangarang tena mahasenena machuna, evang viharang ataping ahoratang atanditang tang ve badde karatoti santo achikati muni. All right, English. A single excellent night discourse. Let not a person revive the past, or on the future build his hopes. For the past has been left behind, and the future has not been reached. Instead, with insight, let him see each presently arisen state. Let him know that and be sure of it, invincibly, unshakably. Today the effort must be made. Tomorrow death may come, who knows? No bargain with mortality can keep him and his hordes away. But one who dwells thus ardently, relentlessly, by day, by night, it is he, the peaceful sage has said, who has had a single excellent night. All right. We have time, and that was a short one, so let's do the next page. Metta Bhavana. Atupamaya sabbe sang sattanang sukha kamatang pasitva kamato mettang sabbasatte subhavaye sukhi bhavayang nidduko ayang nityang ahang viya hittacha me sukhi hontu majjatta chatta verino imam hi gamattaketami satta honti sukhi sada tato parang chara jesu chakkavale jantuno samata chakkavale su sattanate supanino sukkino puggala bhuta attabhavattagasiyong tatta ittipumacheva arya anarya picha devanara apayatta tatta dasa disasu chatti ahang avirohomi abhyapijohomi anigohomi sukhi atinang pariharami aham viyamahyang accharyupajjaya mata pittaro hitta satta majjatika satta veri satta evara avera hontu abhyapaja hontu aniga hontu sukhi atinang pariharantu dukkha munchantu yattaladda sampattito ma vigachantu kamassaka imasming vihare imasming gocharagame imasming nagare imasming ratte imasming chakkavale issara jana simattaka devata sabbe satta sabbe pana sabbe bhuta sabbe puggala sabbe attabhava pariyapanna sabba ittyo sabba purisa sabbe arya sabbe anarya sabbe deva sabbe manussa sabbe amanussa sabbe vinipatika avera hontu abhyapaja hontu aniga hontu sukhi atanang pariharantu dukkha mucchantu yatta ladda sampattito mavigachantu kamassaka. English. Developing loving friendliness. Having seen that all beings, like oneself, have a desire for happiness, one should methodically develop loving friendliness towards all beings. May I be happy and free from suffering. And always, like myself, may my friends, neutral persons, and the hostile be happy too. May all beings in this village, in this state, in other countries, and in all the world systems be ever happy. May all persons, individuals, beings, creatures, and all the world systems be ever happy. So too may all women, men, noble ones, non-noble ones, gods, humans, and beings in the lower worlds be happy. May all beings in the 10 directions be happy. May I be free from hatred. May I be free from affliction. May I be free from worry. May I live happily. As I am, so also may my teachers, spiritual guides, parents, and friendly, indifferent, and hostile beings be free from hatred. May they be free from affliction. May they be free from worry. May they live happily. May they be released from suffering. May they not be deprived of their fortune justly acquired. All have Kamma as their own. May all who are in this temple, in this village, town, country, galaxy, may all higher beings, devas who are in this place, all beings, all living things, all creatures, all persons, all those who have arrived at a state of individuality, all women, all men, all noble ones, all non-noble ones, all gods, all humans, all non-humans, all those who have fallen into woeful states, be free from hatred. May they be free from worry. May they be free from fear. May they live happily. May they be released from their suffering. May they not be deprived of their fortune justly acquired. All have Kamma as their own. All right. That brings us to now the thought of the day. Continuing on through the Attamaha Purissavitaka, 8 noble thoughts of a great person. Now we did the first 2, right? Yes, now the third. Pavivitasayang Dhammo Nyayang Dhammo Sanganikaramassa. We're on page 78 for the English. Okay. This Dhamma is for cultivating seclusion, not for becoming sociable. This is one of those where you might think, oh, they're just talking about monastics. Actually, no, this is not the case. Let's talk about seclusion. First of all, there's 2 types of seclusion. There's external and there's internal. Right? External seclusion is not always under our control. Right? We can't control where we are, where we live, where we work. Well, I mean, actually, we can kind of control that. But in general, wherever we're going out in the world, the external world is the external world. Right? So, as Buddhist practitioners, what do we like to normally do when it's not a pandemic time? We like to go on retreat. We like to, at least for a little bit, a couple days a week, physically seclude ourselves. Why? Because it helps support developing mental seclusion. Mental seclusion is where it's at for Buddhist practitioners. Right? Mental seclusion is the most important seclusion. And if you're skilled enough, you don't need physical seclusion to develop mental seclusion. Right? What is mental seclusion? If physical seclusion is being away from all kinds of distractions, what is mental seclusion? Right? It's letting go and abandoning all kinds of mental distractions. Thinking about the past, thinking about the future, right? Worries and fears and all of these kind of things. developing a mind that is peaceful, calm, quiet, that is immersed in samadhi. Right? This is seclusion of mind. Right? Maybe you've been to a retreat and you've heard the term noble silence. Right? And to the average person, that just means, okay, well, for this retreat, we just have to be quiet. But Buddha tells us what noble silence really is. He called Arya, I don't remember the Pali word for silence, but Arya is noble, right? So this noble silence Buddha talks about is the second jhana, right? So developing seclusion is practicing samatha practices, mindfulness of breathing, right? So that we can develop a mind, a safe haven in our mind, very briefly, it's not permanent, but a time where we can go and be secluded, right? We can be secluded with the breath. But also this allows us to develop our mind that in general, as we're going through the day, is more secluded, is less susceptible to the worldly winds, right? The ups and downs, is less susceptible to, this mind, when you develop the mind that kind of has this like lower level of peace, tranquility, like, you'll be like, part of your mind would be like, oh, let's check Twitter to see who did what and this, and then the other part of your mind is like, do you really want to do that? No, let's not do it. Maybe it's even better if you delete your Twitter account, right? Or something like that, right? So the mind is just inclining towards seclusion, right? Now, it says this Dhamma is for developing seclusion, not for being sociable. So sociable, right? We can understand that even monastics have to, traditionally, the way it was originally set up, monastics would have contact with lay people every day, right? They'd go into the village to get their food. So you had to have contact with other people every day, even for the most ascetic forest-dwelling monastic, right? You went into the town to get your food, right? So that's not what we mean by being sociable, right? This means, being overly sociable, seeking out contact with people because you're bored, because you don't like being alone, because all these kind of extra reasons, right? So you can kind of acknowledge and investigate why you want to seek out contact with this, with people, right? Maybe you have work that you need to do, something's due, a job at your job, papers due, whatever, and you just feel like going and socializing instead, right? Going on Twitter instead, going on this instead, going on that, right? That is actually harmful to you, isn't it? You're procrastinating, your mind is not on the project that you're supposed to be doing, right? So think about these qualities of Dhamma today, right? Think about developing seclusion, mental seclusion, right? If we can get physical seclusion, that's good, but we don't always have the opportunity, we don't always have the choice to be physically secluded, but we do have the choice to develop the ability to be mentally secluded, right? Very important. And also to make sure that we are using our ability to socialize in skillful ways, not unskillful ways, not ways that are, using it to distract from something more important, and not ways that lead to sampapalapa, right? Lots of useless talk, useless speech, and things like that. So friends, with these wonderful thoughts of Dhamma, I wish you a very spiritually successful and peaceful day. Sukhi hotu, may you be happy. Practice well and be well.